I've had a lot of fun running around the world of Fortnite Battle Royale, from knocking down the trees of the Wailing Woods to braving the open waters of Loot Lake, and more recently jumping down onto the tops of the Tilted Towers. The map has a lot to offer. What you didn't know is that there's a lot of secrets hidden all over the map, secrets that the team at Epic Games hid just for you to find. Hey guys, ArcadeCloud here, and today we're counting down our list to the 7 Easter eggs you didn't know were in Fortnite Battle Royale. If you're new to our channel, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with some friends. It's free. Number 7. The Ring is a movie that first came out in 2002. In the movie, there are 2 teenagers, Becca and Katie, and they are talking about this urban legend, one about a videotape. Supposedly, whoever watches the tape dies 7 days later. Why is that important? Well, Katie had watched it a week ago, and that night she died, causing Becca to go insane. From there, the videotape starts doing the rounds, and more people are killed by the cursed piece of media. The videotape itself is pretty weird, showing a bunch of random images that get increasingly more gruesome as time goes on. One of the things that the videotape shows is a well, and in that well is a girl with long hair covering her face called Samara. She walks towards the TV screen and eventually climbs straight out of it. So what does this have to do with Fortnite Battle Royale and Easter eggs? Well, one of the houses in Greasy Grove has a very spooky Easter egg, and it's pretty obviously inspired by that iconic scene of Samara climbing out of the TV from The Ring. When you start looting from this specific house, all the furniture in the kitchen will slowly start to move around, like someone is actually pulling the model of the chairs around. Then if you turn around and look at the television set in the corner, it will move around too, and then suddenly turn on. Then a strange blue creature will appear on the TV and start dancing? It looks like the head of the creature is actually appearing out of the screen. It's a pretty creepy Easter egg inspired by an even creepier movie, although I doubt this one kills you after 7 days. Number 6. What is it with video games and teddy bears? It seems that loads of games have Easter eggs revolving around cuddly teddy bears, from the popular war shooter Call of Duty to games like Borderlands 2 and even the Battlefield series. Well, Fortnite is no different, with an interesting teddy bear Easter egg of its own. There are 2 teddies across the map, one in a blue house in Salty Springs, and one on the last bridge near the Flush Factory and in the Fatal Fields area sitting in a tractor. Both of these teddies look the same, and they all have identical properties. When you hover your crosshairs over them, the crosshairs turn red, as if you were looking at an enemy, and when you shoot them, they disappear into a puff of purple smoke. A lot of people are obviously pretty confused about this Easter egg, as it seems like there should be more to it. I mean, the fact that they disappear into purple smoke when you shoot at them almost makes you feel like you're activating something when you take one out. In Call of Duty Zombies, activating all the teddy bears on the map, of which there are always 3, activates a hidden song. Could killing these teddies in one game somehow trigger that? Or what if something even cooler? Some people are actually speculating that by killing these teddies, you actually get a hold of the Zapatron. I mean, that's probably not true, but a guy can dream, right? Number 5. So while we're on the topic of bears in Fortnite Battle Royale, have you ever been to Lonely Lodge? I mean, of course you have. People go to Lonely Lodge and get great loot all the time. There's literally a chance of 3 golden chests in this area. But have you ever noticed the giant bear statue? No one really knows why Epic decided to put a giant bear in this part of Lonely Lodge. I mean, obviously it's probably because they wanted to build up a bit of the lore around the area. I guess the guy that used to live in the Lonely Lodge before all the storm stuff went down was a hunter or something, and the bear was one of his prize kills or something. What would be really cool is if this giant bear statue was some sort of hint towards the future of the map. I mean, if there's a bear statue here that someone killed then, I guess that means that there were bears on the Fortnite island at some point. If there were bears on the island, then that might mean they are still there, somewhere, hiding away. Wouldn't it be super cool if there was a future mode where you didn't only have to worry about enemy players, but also wild animals like bears? Or even better, a mode where you get to play as wild animals like bears. Who needs guns when you got them claws, right? You don't get any special loot or anything for checking out this giant bear statue, though it does do a pretty good job of helping build up the character of the map. But hey, maybe this giant statue is somehow linked to the other teddy bear Easter eggs. Or maybe I'm just totally overthinking that one. Number 4. If you head to Shifty Shafts, then you'll be in for a pretty big surprise, and when I say big, I'm not using that as a metaphor. There's a giant chair made of wood waiting for you there. The giant chair is a little bit south of the actual Shifty Shafts area, and you'll find it next to a small compound with a diner and a house. There's pretty much no reason to go here unless you really want to see the giant chair, and considering you've seen it on this video already, why would you do that? I mean, I guess when you think about this giant chair in Fortnite, it does raise some pretty crazy questions. Who is this giant chair made for? Is there some sort of giant enemy coming in the Fortnite PvE mode, or something else giant in the future of Fortnite? Or maybe, just maybe, it has something to do with that teddy bear. Actually, you know what? It's probably nothing. I should probably stop talking about it. Is it a Goldilocks and 3 bears joke? I mean, chairs had something to... I'm done. Number 3. Do you love soccer as much as you love Fortnite? Well, no, of course not. If you did, you'd probably be playing FIFA, but hey, this Easter egg is still pretty interesting. The soccer pitch is on the west side of the map, directly in the middle of Snobby Shores, Tilted Towers, and Greasy Grove. Like, there's this big compound in between them, so it's pretty hard to miss. The soccer pitch is actually inside the school building, and it lets you play a game of soccer. There's a ball in the middle of the field that you can kick around, and when you kick it into the goal, it explodes with confetti. After that, the ball resets in the middle, so you can do it all over again. You don't get anything special for scoring goals in this soccer minigame, but it is a pretty cool addition to the game, and hey, if you somehow manage to get 22 people in there at the same time, then you could even get a full game of soccer going, which I guess could be pretty cool in a private lobby or something. Number 2. I don't know why the guys at Epic Games like llamas so much. In PvE, you can access something called the Vendor Tech Store. It's an area where you can buy llama pinatas using V-Bucks, or at certain times, event-specific currencies. They can contain all sorts of things like heroes, schematics, and even weapons. Who knows why Epic chose llamas to be their loot box system? Oh, I'm not just ranting about loot boxes in the game here, because Epic's pretty obvious obsession with llamas goes way beyond loot boxes. If you drop down into the Boneyard in Junk Junction, you'll have something pretty interesting waiting for you. A giant llama looking over the area from on top of a nearby cliff. It's made entirely out of metal, so destroying it will net you quite a lot of valuable material, but other than being pretty cool and having good resource value, there's nothing much more to see here. But like, it is pretty cool. It's a giant llama made entirely out of metal. Maybe it has something to do with the giant chair. And if the giant chair has something to do with the teddy bear, it's all connected! Number 1. Okay, so this Easter egg actually happens in the main Fortnite PvE game as well. Sometimes when you build a brick wall, you'll notice that a certain ceramic someone has managed to get himself stuck in amongst all those bricks. I am of course talking about the random garden gnome that will sometimes appear inside your brick walls when you build them. These garden gnomes actually just function exactly the same as a normal brick inside the wall, so you don't need to worry about it for some reason being a little bit less stable because there's a garden gnome instead of a regular brick. For those of you who didn't know, garden gnomes are actually pretty important in the PvE mode. Destroying them often nets you active power cells in that mode, which is extremely useful in the PvE mode. Not only that, there are a bunch of little achievements and missions related around destroying the garden gnomes that are scattered all over the PvE map, so the gnomes that sometimes show up in your walls are probably a subtle nod to how important they actually are. You can't do anything specific or go anywhere to make these garden gnomes appear though, and they're actually pretty rare, which means you should probably shed a tear when someone mercilessly blows your wall-loving gnome friend up with a grenade launcher or an RPG. And there you have it, our list of the 7 Easter eggs you didn't know were in Fortnite Battle Royale. Do you agree? Did we miss something? Let us know in the comments down below, and don't forget to subscribe for more great videos from ArcadeCloud on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Take care and game on.